Okay, so you want to own a gym. Find a building, fill it with treadmills, watch the memberships roll in, walk into any gym on a weekday evening, and it looks like the easiest business in the world. Every treadmill is taken, the weight room is loud, there's a line at the front desk. You watch that scene and think, this place must be printing money. Here's the problem. You are looking at the 1 hour of the day that lies to you the most. A gym is not really a fitness business. It is a subscription business that happens to have dumbbells in it. The moment you understand that difference, everything about how a gym makes money and how it quietly loses money starts to make sense. There isn't one type of gym. There are several, and each one is a different business wearing the same tracksuit. At the bottom end, budget gyms charging $10 to $25 a month fill buildings the size of supermarkets with thousands of members and run on pure volume. One location can hold 5,000 to 8,000 members and still operate on a skeleton staff. Above that sits the traditional commercial gym charging $40 to $70 monthly. Above that, luxury health clubs charging $150 or more sell you less of a gym and more of a lifestyle. Then there are boutique studios, small rooms built entirely around one style of class. And finally, the personal training studio, sometimes as small as 500 square feet. That sells your time with a coach rather than a membership at all. Each of these is a different bet on the same underlying question. Do you make money from a huge number of people paying a little or a small number paying a lot? Now here is where the naive mental model breaks down. You think the expensive part is the equipment. It is not. The expensive part is turning an empty building into something that can legally and safely hold sweating human bodies. A commercial landlord will ask for 3 to 6 months of rent up front as a security deposit before a single renovation begins. Rubber flooring costs $10,000 to $40,000. Locker rooms and showers need moisture-resistant materials and proper plumbing, adding another $10,000 to $50,000. Mirrors alone can run $3,000 to $12,000 installed. And then there is the part almost nobody budgets for correctly: air. Building codes require roughly 20 cubic feet of fresh air per minute for every person exercising, plus a figure accounting for square footage. Run that formula on a 5,000 square foot floor with 100 people at peak time, and you need over 2,000 cubic feet of fresh air pumped in every single minute. That requires a full industrial HVAC upgrade costing $10,000 to $50,000 before a single membership is sold. Add the deposit, renovation, licenses, insurance, opening marketing, and a cash reserve for the slow early months, and even a modest commercial gym can require $300,000 to over $1 million just to open the front door. Equipment is the next trap. A single commercial treadmill costs $2,000 to $8,000. A gym needs 6 to 12 just for a baseline cardio section. Strength machines run $1,000 to $5,000 each, and a real gym floor needs 12 to 20 of them. Add power racks, dumbbells, and benches, and the equipment bill alone can land between $40,000 and $250,000. Then comes the decision that trips people up. Do you buy or lease? Buying drains cash reserves right when you need them most. Leasing keeps cash free, but can carry interest rates around 8% annually, meaning you pay significantly more over the life of the lease than the equipment was ever worth. And lease payments don't stop if membership dries up. They follow you out the door as a contractual obligation regardless of how empty the gym becomes. Location adds another layer of complexity. Roughly 80% of a gym's membership comes from within a 10 to 15 minute drive of the building. That is your entire addressable market. Not the city, not the metro area, a 10-minute radius. The income level of people within that radius must match your pricing. A luxury club charging $150 monthly cannot survive in a neighborhood built around budget incomes. And a high visibility storefront in a major city can cost $25 to $120 per square foot annually compared to $12 to $20 in a suburban or rural area. Pick the wrong side of that gap, and you have committed to a rent bill your neighborhood cannot support. Now we get to the part that explains everything else. Picture every person who joins a gym falling into one of two futures. In one, they show up 3 times a week, every week for a year. In the other, they show up twice in January and then never return, while still paying monthly. Which member is more valuable to the gym? It is the second one, and this is the single most important idea in the entire fitness business. The person who comes 3 times weekly uses hot water, wears down treadmill belts, needs towels laundered, and occupies floor space during peak hours, which can push other members toward canceling. Every visit costs the gym real money and real capacity. The person who signed up in January and disappeared costs almost nothing. No water, no towel, no wear on equipment, no crowding. Every dollar of their monthly payment flows straight to the bottom line. Industry data consistently shows that around 2 out of every 3 gym members rarely or never use the gym they are paying for. This is not an accident. It is the business model. A gym with 6,000 members could never physically fit even a fifth of them on the floor simultaneously. The fire code would not allow it, and the equipment would not be sufficient. A typical gym floor might be legally capped at 200 to 300 people at once. If 10% of a 7,000-member gym arrived simultaneously, you would have 700 people attempting to occupy a room built for perhaps 250. The gym is not selling access to a room. It is selling a statistical bet that most members will not show up at the same time, and a large portion will not show up at all. The forgotten membership, sitting unused on someone's bank statement, is quietly one of the most profitable customers a gym can have. This model has a predictable seasonal rhythm. Roughly 12% of all annual gym memberships are sold in January alone. Gyms lean into this hard with discounted joining fees and aggressive advertising, but the same wave that arrives fast leaves almost as fast. Around half of new members stop attending within 6 months, and up to 80% of January resolution members have quit showing up by summer. February is the highest risk month, the point where initial motivation fades before a real habit forms. Experienced owners plan their entire cash flow around this pattern, using the January surge to build reserves that carry them through quieter summer months. Owners who treat that windfall as a permanent revenue level instead of a seasonal spike tend not to survive their second year. Now consider what actually determines survival once all these costs are stacked. The core engine is straightforward: monthly dues multiplied by members minus fixed costs. If a gym has $30,000 in monthly operating expenses and charges an average of $89 per member, it needs approximately 337 paying members just to break even. Below that number, money disappears every month. Above it, additional members are nearly pure profit because the marginal cost of an inactive member is close to zero. The problem is that new gyms typically take 12 to 18 months to reach that break-even count, burning through working capital reserves the entire time. Membership itself is not a stable or permanently growing number. Industry average annual churn sits between 30 and 40%. A gym with 500 members losing 5% monthly must acquire roughly 300 new members over the course of a year just to stay exactly where it started. That is not growth. That is running in place. This is precisely why personal training becomes essential. A trainer running a semi-private session with 4 clients each paying $40 generates $160 for that single hour, roughly double the rate of one-on-one work. This breaks the hard ceiling that limits purely individual training revenue and gives the gym a second engine that performs far better per hour than basic memberships ever could. In the optimistic version of this business, you picked the right neighborhood, hit your break-even count on schedule, kept churn at the lower end of normal, and built a healthy personal training program alongside your membership base. Under those conditions, a mid-size independent gym can generate $500,000 to $1.5 million annually with a net profit margin of 10 to 20%. In the realistic version, churn runs high, a budget competitor opens nearby, and equipment repairs add an unexpected $1,000 to $3,000 monthly to overhead. Under those conditions, the same gym slides from a comfortable margin into an outright loss during slow seasons, even while the parking lot still looks reasonably full most evenings. Almost none of that swing shows up as a dramatic, visible event. No fire, no scandal, just a slightly higher cancellation rate, a slightly slower membership ramp, and a slightly heavier repair bill compounding quietly month after month. If you decide to open a gym, remember the one thing that actually determines whether you succeed. It was never really about how many people you can get to sign up. It is about how well you can survive on the people who stop showing up.